early morning, yawn AM. Heading in to open the restaurant up for the day. Folks, I'm going to talk a little bit about my little bass boat I've been building. Starting on just an old John boat, kind of a project. Hope some folks find it interesting. I was asked to do some of this for ultimatebass.com. Some of the guys there are talking about it. If you want to know more about boats like this, go to ultimatebass.com. Discussion forum, you'll see all kinds of interesting things about bass boats and John boats and kayaks. It's all there, all kinds of good fishing information. So go ahead in and get some work done today, and I hope y'all like this video. This is Hick Billy Outdoors with DW Verts, and we'll be talking at you directly. Bye. That's one of the good parts about living here in the sticks of Morgan County, Missouri. We got some grown up good ones. Hope this is filming good enough, but it's a little blurry. Weeks or so. Man, that may be a bona fide gomer, I don't know. I live here in the sticks of Morgan County. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, look at that. He's got a friend. Oh, his friend ain't small. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at that, folks. That's the big ones they hang together. Oh, there's three of them. Oh, that. Oh, I'm having an issue. Look at there. Cool. Okay, there you go. Bonus footage. Bye, guys. What do you think? Is that a bassin rig or what? Well, it's sure enough is for me right now. That's what I'm using for now. And I've caught a bunch of fish out of it since I first got it. It lacks a lot. It also gains some things over a high dollar rig, besides not being a high dollar rig. It is what it is, and we're having some fun with it. So we'll talk about it for a little bit. I bought this thing back in late March, the last week of March, from a friend of mine down the road. He hadn't used it in years. It's a 98 15-foot low. It is not Lowe's high-end boat of those years. It's not a modified V. Actually, I was Lowe's #1 salesman in the world, 94, 5, and 6. So I sold some of these boats. And it's not their high-end boat, but you know, it's fairly wide. It does the job of what I'm doing right now, which is not the job I intended it for. It's a filthy mess. It's the way it was when I went fishing last week. I'm getting ready to clean it out and do some work to it, but not the work I need to be getting done. And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But the way I've been fishing out of this thing is just fishing out of the back with a hand-controlled trolling motor, standing on that plywood floor that I built, so I'm not standing on those ribs. And you know, it's serviceable. I'm fishing a little 115-acre lake that I grew up on, and it's a working. It just isn't what I wanted, which is to make it into a tiny bass boat. That's what they call them. And a tiny bass boat is taking a John boat basically and adding some of the amenities of a real bass boat, which would be a deck, some storage, trolling motor up front, depth finders, etc., etc., which actually, that's the closest I've got. But there's a decking there, painted, some stuff for framing. I've got stuff for a storage lid. I've got a brand new trolling motor for it, brand new Garmin depth finder, all still in the box. Now how's that for sad? Sad, sad, sad. And that's where I'm at after 3 months, for a reason. Howdy, y'all. Dale here, talking about fishing out of this old John boat. It's a serviceable boat for fishing small waters. I'm fishing it. Actually, I intend to take it to Lake of the Ozarks and Truman. Lake of the Ozarks is just about 25 minutes from my house. Truman's about 40 minutes the other way. It'll work for that as long as you take into account that you don't need to be out in the main channel in a big boat traffic. What I had done is nothing to this boat except some stuff for the trailer. So I got it the last week of March. I fished out of it second week of April. And having time to fish is, like everybody, there's always issues. I have my own small business and things get in the way. But what's been happening is when I have time to work on it, I'm going fishing instead of working on the boat. And I may do that again one more time this week. I got stuff loaded in the truck and was going to do some work on it yesterday, and things come up today. Besides the fact I'm mowing grass every 3 or 4 days like it's frickin' May, and it ain't May. It's middle of July. It ain't supposed to be raining like this. There's maybe as much as 3 or 4 inches more rain coming in yet this week. So it is what it is. The only thing I've really done to this thing so far is the service stuff. It has a 15-horse John Rood motor, also 98. I'm not a big fan of those. It's a good motor. I took it to my buddies down at the lake. They went through everything, put a water pump in. I mean, it's setting for 8 or 9 years. It's hard to say. Brendan didn't really remember. I'm pretty sure he ran the gas out of it because it started the 5th pull. It was amazing. And it's got electric start too, and that all checks out good. Put a water pump in it, clean things up, new plugs. The plugs were pretty wore. They were original plugs, I'm sure. Those motors are pretty foolproof if you keep good gas and good oil in them. Keep water pump in them, which are not hard on water pumps. But anyway, so I got that taken care of, and it's sitting over in the shop, and it's never been close to being back on the boat again. The trailer had some weather check into the tires. You know what that adds up to. So I ordered tires for it. I ordered a little bit larger tire. It's a 14-inch wheel, and actually, I thought I was going to have to do some clearancing maybe on the fenders or wheel wells, but anyway, they fit really good. They're a little fatter tire, a little taller tire, which I like, and that gives me, I got 2 now for spares. They're plenty good for spares, which sometimes you never need one. Heck, someday I may need both of them. I did the bearings and put bearing buddies on it. Never had bearing buddies. I like those. I put bunks on the trailer. It didn't have any bunks, which would make it, to me, a real pain to load and unload, and just pulling down the road for keeping the boat where it needs to be in a trailer. So I put bunks on it, and I also put a dolly stand on the front, not a winch. And I may wish I'd put a winch, may have to eventually, because if I get the work done to this, it's supposed to happen, which is the big full deck, and it's going to be heavier in the front. Right now, it's not heavy. So, but right now, for rolling around the pasture here and around the yard and messing with it, it's no big deal. That little dolly thing was like 25 bucks, and I probably shorted myself on that, but that's the story, the way things go. I'll get better at it. So, eventually, I'll have a deck in this thing. Eventually, hopefully next week, I'm going to take a day and a half, frame everything in. I haven't got that figured out. I've got the deck kind of cut to fit. It's going to take some silicone, fill in the gaps. The wiring is in the boat for lights. I've disconnected all that. I'll have to cut holes, route things. I'm putting a brand new Minn Kota trolling motor on it, and I'll have to build a bracket for that. Have to run the wiring for that. Got a brand new Garmin 7-inch screen, whatever model that is. It's the Striker, but it's the new one. It's all I need on this boat. Have to mount that, wire that. So I want to get all the lights, everything wired up to be legal on a reservoir, and just because it needs to be done. And I'll probably run some extra wiring, because I'm thinking I want to put some night lights in this thing, because I think sometime next month or two I'll probably feel safer. Maybe it'd be not so safe, but be on some of these lakes, like especially Lake of the Ozarks, at night when fishing's a little easier and there's not so many people out. So, I mean, it's a project, and I'm not a woodworker, I'm not an architect, I'm not a designer hardly. It's just going to be something that comes together, I hope. I'm going to have to do some cutting and work, and I'm going to put a a tray in the floor for recessed foot pedal. I like those. Had them on all my bass boats over the years once they came out. And they require cutting some metal and some things. But anyway, it is what it is. I can make this thing into a serviceable bass boat, I'm fairly sure. Like I said, it's kind of a mess right now, but there's things to be done to it to make it like I want. Now, you say, why did I do that? Because I have caught, oh golly, since I started using this boat in the middle of April, I've probably caught, I don't know, 15 bass over 5 pounds out of it, just standing back there in that hole. But man, guys, I'm 57 years old. I'm a little fat boy, and standing in the back of that boat hurts. It's just not what you're meant to do. Get an elevated deck in there, an elevated platform, that's going to make it easier fishing, better the way I like to fish when I'm bass fishing. And I think it'll be more comfortable, easier to move around in, give me more room to move instead of being restricted in the back of that boat. I am not going to do one of these step-by-step walkthroughs on how I build a boat. It's just not going to happen. There must be hundreds, and there go the A10s. We love our A10s. Go get them, boys. Oh yeah. There must be hundreds of videos on the interweb about how I built my John boat, made it into a modern bass boat. I'm not doing it for fit and finish or glory or perfect. I'm doing it for serviceability for me to make it work, and that's where we're at. So the next time I do a video on this boat, it'll be done. I also bought C-Deck, the rubber flooring, which a lot of bass boat companies have figured out that carpet sucks in a bass boat. Just wet, stinking, nasty, degrading, makes the boat uglier and age faster. Especially interior, they're starting to use a C-Deck. It's pretty good. I'm pretty sure I bought enough to do everything, at least on the front deck. And when I'm done, I'll probably put a floor in it too with some flotation, because these boats they're noisy. Aluminum boats, everything you touch on one makes a vibration and noise. Oh, just like that. You do that when you're fishing, especially skinny water, like a lot of stuff I fish. And the bass don't like that stuff. No fish does. So I'm going to C-Deck and rubber coat everything. I'm going to make this boat the way I would want it to be if I was going to go buy one already made. This is probably a temporary deal, though. I still think I'm going to buy another bass boat. I gave mine away last year to a deserving young man who has made good use of it, and has ended up paying me some money for it even. I didn't tell him he didn't have to do that, but it was a 19-footer, the 200. It had all modern stuff on it. But I'm not sure yet, but if I buy another bass boat, this will take a second place. So there you go. It is what it is. We're going to have some fun with it. Anything I can do to help you guys, drop me a message. I'm figuring this out as I go. I'm not trying to be a stud. I'm not trying to be a actor. I'm just a normal, plain old guy. I'm a hickbilly, not a hillbilly. Anybody can be a hillbilly. It takes something special to be like me. Guys, thanks a bunch. We'll be talking at you later. Take care. Well, I said I wasn't going to post any more video on this boat until I got it finished. But I'm splashing it today. I'm going to go fishing for a little while and try some things out. I got the deck mocked up, trolling motor in place on a mock-up mount. Everything's temporary. If I get to where I like it, where it works, everything comes back off, gets unscrewed, everything gets painted, wiring gets run, trolling motor gets a recessed pedal tray, and said repaint everything and then put the C-Deck rubber flooring on it, and we're going to see how it works. It's pretty dang heavy. It's going to, the front of the boat's setting lower. I'm not in it yet. It may be too much for that little boat, so we're going to find out. So I just want to give a quick update on this. It'll be a few weeks, but we're going to go fish out of it for a while. It's a hot day, a little bit of breeze though. Huge plankton bloom on my lake. It turned green. That may hurt me, but we're going to fish for a little while and see if we make something happen.